I'm Stephen Tucker, and this is the story to my Tennessee buck.
Got a pretty nice deer here, Stephen.
Well, the first time I learned about the deer is first part of September. I think bow season, it was 3 days before bow season opened. Me and my uncle, we were shelling corn in this field, and we were headed out. I was in a tractor and grain cart, and he was behind me in the combine, and he called me and said, look at this deer. It's a big deer over here. And I didn't think nothing about it. I just turned around and looked, and I seen stuff going everywhere on it, and I thought, he didn't look that wide. I didn't see him for about 15 seconds or so, and when I seen him, I thought, I got to get some trail cam pictures of him and see what he's about. I want to hunt him.
The first good trail camera picture that you got of him, when you really got a good look at him, what'd you think of it at that point?
I was sitting at the kitchen table with my wife and my brother-in-law, and we were skimming through him. I said they'd never seen him. They just heard what I told them about him, and I don't know if they really thought what I was telling them was true. And when they seen it, our jaws hit the floor. Yeah, he was actually the first deer I seen Saturday morning.
Wow. What happened? Where did he come from, and what happened Saturday morning?
He come out of the drain, and he was headed towards his scrape. He went to his scrape. I dry fired on him at like 30 yards, and he just looked around and didn't think nothing about it, and went on about his business, went to his scrape, and I was so tore up I couldn't collect myself back to do it.
So we'll back up just a little bit. So you actually had the muzzleloader curse. So you had a dry fire, a misfire on this deer Saturday morning, and how far away was he?
30 yards, 35 yards.
30 yards. Wow. So what happened? Was your gun
I don't know.
Just a misfire? Did the cap snap, or?
The cap went off and everything, and he never paid no attention to it, and he looked around a little bit like that didn't sound right, but then he went on and checked his scrape and walked on.
Wow. So he's sitting there working that scrape 30 yards. You've got a gun that just went off, or that didn't just go off.
Yeah.
It snapped. And what'd you do? Did you want to put another cap on there? Did you just want to just hang back and let him go, or what?
I couldn't put another cap on. And by the time I could have got myself to put another cap on, he had done stepped around the tree line, and he was out of sight. Saturday afternoon at about, I don't know, 4:30, 4:45, something like that. He stepped out in the field to check the does that were in front of me, and I shot him with a rangefinder, and he was 162 yards, and he just stood there for probably 10 minutes just looking at the field, and I was contemplating, should I shoot him, should I not shoot him. That's a little bit too far for me. I don't want to shoot my muzzleloader that far. I was afraid I'd cripple him or make a bad shot or just clean miss. Probably about 30 minutes later, I heard something to my right, and I turned around to the right, and I had that window closed on my blind, and I pulled it back, and I didn't see anything, so I let it back down real easy, and when I was starting to spin back around to my left, I look out that window, and he was standing 35, 40 yards right in front of me. So I said, well, I don't want to mess it up this time. He was looking right at me when I turned back around, but I had the mesh up. I was pretty confident that he didn't see me. So I said, well, when he starts walking again, I'm gonna reach down and get my gun shouldered up. He started walking. I got my gun. As soon as I got my gun shouldered up, he turned back around. Like he was looking me right in the eye. He looked right back at me, and I was just trying to hold myself together to make a good shot.
Yeah.
And at the same time, though, I was wanting to hurry because I didn't want him to step off this time or get away or something.
Sure.
So, but after that, I squeezed off on him, and
was he standing broadside? Or?
Yeah, he's standing broadside.
So
and the smoke from the muzzleloader, I couldn't tell because it went off inside my ground blind, and it was smoke everywhere inside of there. And the last thing I seen, he ran off. about 50 yards, and then the blood trail started really good.
Mm-hmm.
And walked about 10, 20 more yards, and just looked up, and there